Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for your coming. Today, this session's topic is what China developers brought to community after 6 OpenStack Bug Smashes. We will discuss the details later. First, let's introduce ourselves first. My name is Fred, and I'm coming from Huawei. I'm leading the Huawei OpenStack upstream team. Just to tell you the background, we have both upstream team and a downstream team, and the downstream team is providing the open cloud service and distro, and I'm the upstream team leader to connect the community and our product. Thanks.
Yeah, my turn. My name is Jianfeng Ding. You can just call me Jeff. Yeah, I'm from Intel. In Intel, I'm the engineering manager for the OpenStack upstream project. Yeah, my team, most people in Beijing. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Changbo Guo. I work for the EasyStack. I lead a small team to the upstream contribution. I'm also the BTL from Sins, Pack, and Queen. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So today we will cover 3 parts. First one, I will introduce the China's OpenStack Bug Smash journey, and Changbo will talk about the China companies contribution analysis, and the last part will be covered by Jianfeng. Okay, I think from 2015, we started at the beginning. First, there are several companies from China like Huawei, Intel, Nanting Cloud. Several companies started to create the events which is called OpenStack Hackathon that time, and later we changed it to Bug Smash. The meaning itself is the same, but just the name is changed. So we started to fix the bugs which we think important and to improve the OpenStack quality. So every half a year we continue this events, and so far we have finished the 6 events, and the next one will happen by end of this month. So in Wuhan. So as China is quite big, quite large, so you can see we start from the east to the middle, then to the southeast, southwest, and east, south, and again we will go to Wuhan, this area again, and probably one day we will move to our capital, Beijing, and this is a history, and from the number of the bugs we fixed and the engineers joined and the companies, we can see at the beginning there are not so much, but then we have so many Chinese engineers joining this event, and we have fixed more than 600 bugs during the 6 events, and 17 companies involved. I just want to highlight in number 3 and 4, from number 3, not only China but also many countries were doing the OpenStack Bug Smash events at the same time, like Rackspace in US and Mirantis in both US and Russia. So it's quite interesting. So many engineers working together at the same time in different locations. And from the figures we can see, we can find some information. I think the positive one, first, we can see the engineers contributing to the community are increasing more and more, and also we have invited every time we invited some experts from overseas, because at the beginning there are very few code reviewers working in China because of the two reasons. I think the first one is China open source is quite new to China, and also because of the culture and the language issues, we are not so quick to get the position of code reviewers, but later we have more and more, and later in the second part, Changbo will discuss this. And as I said, in the third and the fourth, there are up to 10 countries working together to fix the bugs. And every event, we invited some new OpenStackers, like some of them are from colleagues, some of them are from some companies which are new, and they have finished their first commit in the event, which is quite exciting. And in the first several bug smashes, we were focusing on fixing the bugs, and later we are thinking to create some new projects just to cover some gaps which OpenStack has not. So like a Morgan project was created in the fourth bug smash, and currently tomorrow morning at I think at 11 o'clock more or less, there is a forum to discuss Morgan, Ironic, Nova. And with this event, we have built a very good community in China, and we have several groups, like WeChat groups and email groups, just to connect all the developers. Besides the positive feedback, we also have some things we think we need to improve. The first one is I think we need to organize the event better, because we hope we can make sure more OpenStack projects teams can support us during that time. For example, we submit some patches, and we hope they can be reviewed very, very quickly. So this one is what we can improve in the future, and also we hope we can invite more customers to join the bug event and take this time several times. For example, half an hour or 1 hour to talk about their concerns, so that the final engineers can listen to hear the final customer's voice. Just what I said, we will have the 7th bug smash will happen by end of November. So hope you can join either on site or remotely. Okay, I will hand it to Changbo to talk about the second part. Thanks.
I'd like to introduce China company competition from the supporting companies. Upstream contributions contributes to and initialize the projects by China companies. And at last, I would like to discuss how to help new contributors from China. Firstly, let us look at some numbers. They are the supporting companies in China. We have 1 platinum members. The total number of the gold member is 24. 13 companies from China. Yes, it's more than the half. There are also the 8 corporate sponsors and 11 sponsoring organizations. Specifically, 2 China companies, China Mobile and Tencent, got the Super User Award. Years out, China companies love OpenStack. I collected the latest 6 release contribution. There are many metrics like commits, review, level code. I choose the commits that contribute by companies. There are 4 columns. The first is the release date, then the second is release name. The third column is the number of the China companies which contribute code in one cycle. The last is the total number of the companies. We can look at that more and more China companies have beginning to contribute and take some key roles in the community. Until now, there are 5 board directors of the OpenStack Foundation, more than 9 project team lead, and more than 35 code reviewers. It's just the beginning. I think the contributors from China can do better and better. The data source is from the Stack Analytics website. You can find that in in the link at the bottom of the slide. Let's look at the picture. From the picture, we could find that Chinese engineers contribute mostly of the OpenStack projects and initialized some projects like Cyborg, Morgan, Carver. So China contributors do more than before. Okay, we still find that more and more new Chinese engineers begin to contribute. Some of that can't find the right way to contribute due to the lack of open source experience, language barrier, cultural difference. Through Bug Smash event, many new deployers submit and merged their first patch on site. And senior developers, like some code reviewers, said their community work experience to help them ramp up. Also, senior developers and community leaders teach them to avoid low quality and ugly submissions. I think the China new contributor can do better. Now, let's Jiefeng introduce more.
Let's start the third part. In this part, we are going to talk about the feedback and the voice from China developers and the community. Yeah, This here we have a page for all the technical feedback from the Chinese users and operators from some Chinese vendors. Actually, the information source is from the OpenStack Days China in this year, the summertime. In this event, we have invited several Chinese users. Mostly, it's some telecom vendors to talk about how many important gaps they have encountered in recent years, the use of OpenStack. So from the meeting, we have collected a lot of information, very important information. For example, I have list the most important part here. We can see, we can go through it one by one. Firstly, the vendors mentioned currently in OpenStack community project, there's still no mature HA solution for VM and bare metals. Yeah, that's a very actually in OpenStack product is a very critical feature. Maybe some vendors have some of their own proprietary solution, but in the community there's no mature open source solution for that. Another important, let's go to the next one. Another very important and very critical issue is the Rabbit MQ stability. We know in OpenStack deployment, the Rabbit MQ, the message queue is very critical to let the different components to talk to each other. The RPC based on that. But we know in a community, for the community default deployment, the MQ cluster is not stable enough to support relative large scale deployment. So there's still many more work expected to improve it. The next topic is about the community development progress. Yeah, we know maybe not only China vendors think about that. Maybe there's a lot of other other community or vendors to think about it. It's a painful thing. About in the red text, we can see the problem is too many discussions. Yeah, in the community here we have two examples for the discussion things. For example, the VM live resize feature and the multiple attach feature. That's very important, and many OpenStack vendor and users want it very much. But for these important features, there's a lot of discussion in many releases, but the development progress is still very slow. Yeah, it's painful. Another thing about the storage devices, the Cinder, mainly the Cinder driver, for the support of some commercial storage devices. According to the users' feedback, most of commercial storage driver is buggy. It cannot use in the product. Yeah, that part I think in the future we need to involve more storage vendors' effort to improve it. Another thing about the deployment. OpenStack deployment from very start of OpenStack project, we can see there's a lot of different deployment method. For example, the user can install the OpenStack from the Linux distribution packages, for example, RPM or apt, and the user can also deploy the OpenStack from source code. And then there are some chef recipes, some Ansible solutions, and then we have a Cola. Yeah, too many choices for users. So maybe in the future, the community maybe can consolidate all the effort into the most modern way to deploy the OpenStack. Yeah, another thing about the tools for maintenance and operations, and also for some error root causing analysis and analyzing tools. Currently, community projects have no such things. Maybe some vendors have some powerful tools to do that, but still not open. Maybe in the future, if some vendors want to open source it, it will be very helpful for all the community. Another thing about is about the bare metal management service. As we know, also in yesterday the keynote mentioned the bare metal usage in this year have increased very much from as I remember, from 8% to 20+% for the usage. We know if we want to use the bare metal services, we need to use currently the community solution is use Ironic for bare metal provision, and we still need to use Nova as the user interface to do the bare metal resource orchestration above the Ironic project. But Nova, we know the Nova is actually is from the very beginning. The design of Nova is specific for virtual machine. So there's many feature gaps, and even sometimes is the design gap for the gaps for Nova to manage all the bare metal resources. So there's no dedicated. Currently, there's no dedicated such official project to do that. But the good news is, as Fred mentioned in the first several slides, in the China Bug Smash event, we have the China community have an innovation project named Morgan to do that, to act as a dedicated bare metal management service. We have the session to discuss, to do the forum session to discuss it in the summit, in this summit. If you have interest, please attend it. Okay, next page. This picture, I want to talk about the SDK part, the OpenStack SDK. From this picture, we can see there's a lot of different choice for the OpenStack SDK platforms for different programming language. We can see that, for example, the Python platform, Java, Python, Go language, and some Ruby, JavaScript. For example, all the popular development platform have been mentioned here, and also for different vendor, for different users is using it. But the problem is here, several problems for the OpenStack SDK currently. The first problem is most of OpenStack SDK packages not mature enough to be used in product. We still need a lot of work to enhance it. Another problem is OpenStack SDK is the OpenStack API version compatibility problem, because currently among all the OpenStack SDK platform, they depend on different versions of OpenStack API. It's a problem. We need some unified work to make them work together compatibility. Okay, let's go next page. The second important gap for between the community features and the vendor's expectation is some important function of the virtualizations. We know for OpenStack setup, we know the most important resource is the virtual machine. So the OpenStack somehow the OpenStack is built above on the virtual machine technologies. In the technical stack, we know from the kernel, KVM, QEMU, libvirt, all the virtualization stack, there's still many important features are missing. Here we have two examples. There's also some expectation from OpenStack vendor to want to use it. The first example is USB device management. For example, some vendor or some OpenStack users want to attach their special USB devices to the virtual machine. For example, some soft dog devices. But currently the virtual machine component cannot support it. Another thing about the CPU and the memory library size feature. It's in many cases it's very important, but currently the OpenStack cannot do that. Next page, we are going to talk about the OpenStack release cycle problem. The title, okay, it's very clear for this topic. It's the vendors or users want LTS support model for the OpenStack community release. Currently, in a community, in current this table is from the community the release cycle decisions. We can see for every currently for every 6 months we have a new release of OpenStack, and the maintenance cycle can be we can see from the table after the every release of OpenStack, the first 6 months is for the we can consider its latest release, the bug smash. The bug fixes and some are very active to be added to the release because it's an active release, we know. But after 6 months, another new release has been published. So the previous release will enter a maintained release status. In the maintenance mode, this release can only accept critical bug fixes and some secret patch. So that's also not the most painful part. If the most painful part is the 3 phases, because we know after 1 year, if after 1 year the release somehow will be considered as a legacy release, maybe no one in the community want to work on it. So for the very old or legacy release, only some security patch will be merged into the release. Yeah, that's critically the community maintenance cycle model is painful for the vendors. The vendor normally want to a long-term support model for some specific release. For example, just take a sample about the release LTS. For example, we can have 2 years. Every 2 years we have LTS support for some release. There will be more help for the vendors and also for the users. You know. Okay. If we want to apply the LTS model for the release maintenance, we can get more value from these 2 areas. The first one we can see if we in this model we can integrate more power from all the community and the vendors to all the community developers and vendors can work on LTS release together, to avoid the resource distraction, and also the customers, the OpenStack users also want the LTS support. Yeah, and also some feedback from the China developers. The 2 topics about the meetings. It's very this topic is a very frank topic. The first thing is about the travel cost for all the summit and the PDG meetings. We know more than 1 year ago, the OpenStack community for the global meeting we have only summit event. Every year we have 2 summit. Many important developers will travel to the summit and to attend the summit and the design summit But after some time, the community split the summit into 2 different meetings. Every year we have every year we have 2 summit event and 2 PDG meetings. So if for some important developers, actually they want to attend a both summit and PDG meetings, because maybe are the different meeting have a different purpose, but the different purposes are all important for some developer and stakeholders. But the problem is the travel cost. Every year have 4 international travel is it's a burden for everyone, I think, for every company. Here is just a proposal for how the community can improve it. Anyway, this is just some personal opinion for some developers. The proposal is maybe the community can combine the summit and the PDG together again, but without the meeting overlap time. For example, before when we have only summit time meeting, we have the summit the presentations, we have design summit sessions. Most of the time, there's a lot of overlap time, so there's a confusion or many conflict for some developers to attend the sessions. So the proposal is how about the combine the summit and PDG together, but without overlap time. Yeah. And another feedback from the China developer is the community meetings. We know most community meetings are too late for China developers. As I know, most meetings are very late in the night. For example, 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. and even some midnight meeting. So I know the China developer are very heavy worked on that, and they also very tired for most of the time for that. Maybe in the future we can do a more convenient arrangement for that. Okay, that's all the content of today's talking. Here is some simple summary for all the tokens from Fred and Changbo. The point from the token, we can see the developers and the users are still growing fast in China. Yeah, that's a good news for all the community and the China users. And how to make the OpenStack running on China better? There's some proposal from our tokens. One thing is about the developer ecosystem need to be updated. Another thing is talk about the LTS strategy is important for all the users and vendors. And another feedback is about we still need the community still need to cover more features about the virtualizations. And another thing is about how we help the newcomer, a new developer for OpenStack in China to buy our some local event, for example, the Bug Smashes event. Yeah. Okay. Maybe the last page about several other topics in this summit. It's about it's related to the content of this topic. So if you have interest, please attend it. Thank you much. Yeah, last page we have some, there's a picture. This picture is from the China Days, it's from the OpenStack Days China this year, the summertime. We have a picture about all the volunteers. Yeah, we three are all among the volunteers. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, that's all for today's talking. Yeah.
Okay, I think the time is up, so we can talk offline if you want.
OK。
多谢。